guys, and welcome to another episode of the Cigar Lounge Talk Show. I am your host, Aaron Paoletta, and today I have a special guest with me. This guy is part of my cigar club. He's also a member of my Masonic Lodge, and he's just an all-around good guy. Please welcome Vince Buell. Vince, say hi.
Well, hello, and thanks for having me here. I'm excited to be here.
And he's already choking over his words. That's good. Never been on camera before, have you?
No, this is one of my first times actually being one-on-one.
I probably should have actually said this before we started. You see that camera to the left? Yeah. That's yours.
Oh, cool.
So
I get my own camera.
You do. So when you want to talk and address people, you talk into that camera.
Okay.
You got that?
Yeah.
Anyway, so today we're doing a special episode. We're going to do an episode on pairings. Now, everybody knows that I do not drink, but I do drink coffee. And today I have an Ethiopian, wow, I need Johnny here. He's the one that normally screws that up. I have an Ethiopian Sudamu. Wow. And because he does drink and enjoy spirits, he's going to tell you what he's got.
I brought the Glenfiddich 12. It is a single malt Scotch whiskey. This is what I'll be enjoying today.
Also, for my pairing, my cigar to my coffee, I brought the Patissier by Crowned Heads. Now, I've only had this once. I got this when we went to the Crowned Heads function out at the Grand Resort. Evan, were you there that night with me? Crowned Heads, yeah, you were there. You were there that night. We got a sampler pack of these, which was all part of going. This one's a little smaller than the other one that I tried, but I think it'll suit well with the blend of coffee that I've chosen tonight, and I will get into that in a second. I want to know, what cigar did you bring for your pairing?
I brought the Rocky Patel 60 for my pairing, and I didn't want to go too dark on the wrapper. I wanted a Nicaraguan.
Oh,
definitely.
Oh, what did you say?
I said Nicaraguan. Play it back. Right now.
One more again.
Nicaraguan. What syllable?
We got Johnny Jr. here now, boy.
Or what letter am I missing?
We got Johnny Jr. Anyway, continue on with your Rocky Patel. And I'm glad it's 60, not 60th. That was 60. Rocky Patel made that one for his birthday.
No, but I brought this to pair it with this kind of whiskey because this whiskey, naturally being a Scotch, has some peatiness to it. So it's important. You don't want a wrapper that's too dark, so it would burn a lot more, and you just get a lot of peppery notes.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, because see, when I do pairings for my cigars and my coffee, I don't want bold on bold.
Yeah.
I don't want mild on mild. I want something that offsets each other. So I have my coffee today is going to be slightly on the sweeter side, like cane sugar. Mm-hmm. It's going to have a touch of berries to it.
Yeah.
Well, this one, they said that le Patissier, that's French for baking, pastries. But it wasn't as sweet as I thought it was going to be, the overall flavor of the tobacco. Right. So actually, I think between the two of these, this is a little bit darker, just because of how I brew my coffee, and this is more on the medium side. So between the two, they're going to mesh very well in the middle. Mm-hmm. So I believe that's a 3, if I remember correctly. So it's a medium stick.
Right.
What is that one?
Whenever it comes to strengths of whiskeys, you kind of have to look at the percentage of alcohol in it. That's going to be the main thing about it. But for a particular type of whiskey, like Scotch, you have to pay attention to the peatiness. And unfortunately, the only way to know the difference between the whiskeys is just trying them. So you might have to go out and buy a bottle of this, buy a bottle of that, and just try around and find what you like. What you say about cigars is the same way about whiskey.
Well, it 100% is. I mean, I always recommend to people to try. Just try everything. And don't try to do it all in one day, because, then you taint your palate, and, everything starts to taste the same. But speaking of tasting, my tongue wants to taste this, so we're going to get it. You ready to smoke?
I'm definitely
All right, we're going to light up. All right, so I think I came like underprepared today. Brought this tiny little bastard, and you brought the big one.
I've been really craving some cigars, so I think I might smoke this a little bit faster. So I came prepared. I prepared myself this time.
Oh, good. Well, I'll tell you what, crown heads, exactly what I despise Alec Bradley for is now happening again on the second time I've done this. Clogged as all shit. So I'll be poking this thing all night trying to get it to loosen up. God, I hate that.
And I'll be smoking this all night.
Shit's just annoying. Like, that's why I've cut off Alec Bradley, because I get sick and tired of trying to mess with it. Like, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, I don't want to bash him because I actually do like some of the crown head stuff. I'll save my bashing for another day. Anyway, go ahead and talk a little bit more about your whiskey and main reasons for pairing with the 60.
A few of the main reasons why I would pair Glenfiddich 12 with Rocky Patel 60 is that I love the taste that you initially get on your nose and in your mouth, the palate. It all just blends so well together, and some of the first things that you'll smell in this is like rich, smoothed out leather, and you'll get some sweet vanilla and cream on your nose. It's just all aroma whenever you have it in the right kind of glass. And then the finish is the most important part because you're trying to taste. You taste a cigar and you smell a cigar. But whenever you take a hit of that cigar, you have all those flavors, those oils inside your mouth. You want that to mix well with your whiskey. And if you have too harsh, it'll burn. If it's too smooth, it might taste like bitter coffee.
That's definitely true. I mean, I remember my drinking days, and there was certain scotches that, like, I was a Scotch guy, so there were certain scotches that I enjoyed. McCallum was one of them.
Yes.
I was lucky enough to have a bottle of McCallum 52, which cost a fortune. Oh, it was. But that one not only did it go down smooth, it stayed smooth the whole way. It didn't burn. All it really did was warm me up. That was the extent of that particular scotch. But then I've had, I was a kid once. I had Rock Gut, I had Mad Dog 2020, and I pretty much. I don't think you could be a teenager and go into 21 without having had that and just puked it up.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that's just like a rite of passage. And not that I'm promoting that, because I am surely not. I mean, I don't drink anymore. But everybody I know has had Rot Gut in them before they've hit 21.
Absolutely.
And just had one hell of a story to tell the following day. So a little bit before you get into your pour, and we can start pulling out some notes here. These particular beans for the Sadamu, they're mostly harvested between October and January of the year, which I find interesting because you're harvesting these in the colder months, and sometimes you harvest them in the warmer months. So that's an interesting fact on it. They do wash the hell out of them, but they're dried on raised beds, so they can it lets the air go through under, over, dries them out. It doesn't really have much acidity in the bean itself. I have had some coffees and some espressos that really flared up my acid reflux. Evan, I don't know if you've have you ever had any like that? Like, you drink the coffee, the espresso, and your acid reflux just flares? This doesn't really have that. It's actually on the smooth side. These are normally grown anywhere 1,500-ish to around 2,000 to 2,200 meters above sea level. That's the proper climate for growing these really beans. And so far, the only thing that I really put in this coffee is I'm not one for adding extra flavors. I just put like a sweet cream. I think like Cold Stone sweet cream, I believe, is what it is, and it's literally just sweet cream. So there's no extra flavor. So I'm just getting a creamy version of this coffee. Now, if I was drinking some different coffees that I have, like some of the ones I get from Sao Paulo, Brazil, I don't drink any cream in them. I just put a little bit of sugar in to take away that,
to take away the bitterness, to get that nice, then just sweet finish.
Because I want, like, the beans are so good, I don't want cream in it. But this one, I enjoy the flavor with the cream.
So your beans come from a specific, oh my gosh, there I go.
Hey,
it's this chair. It's
got to be the chair, because that's the chair that Johnny sits in.
we need to switch chairs.
No,
Anyways,
no, I got my name on
so
my
your
chair.
beans are from a specific environment.
Yes.
Right? The barley from Glenfiddich Distillery comes from a specific location in the Dufftown in Scotland where the distillery was made. Fun fact, when William Grant started this distillery, he had 7 sons and 2 daughters and only one stonemason.
Way to go.
One stonemason and 750,000 stones, and hand built the distillery. And to this day, they still do everything traditional, just like William Grant did. They don't have any computers. They have people tasting, building their own barrels. They have 1 million plus barrels. They have chalkboards, write everything on the chalkboards, tasting notes, masters distillers, just like William Grant did. They don't do anything with new technology. And I love it.
That's the one thing that I do enjoy about Freemasonry as well, is we keep it ancient, we keep it old school.
Yeah.
And I do like that. So I can appreciate that kind of thing. Now, I'm just curious because, I'm drinking coffee and having a cigar, and you're having a cigar. Are you going to drink that, or did you just bring it to show people?
Oh, I'm definitely going to.
Are you going to drink it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, a very particular glass I like to enjoy my whiskey in is the Glencairn glass. Very typical for all whiskeys to enjoy from. And the reason is it keeps all the alcohol and all of the smells you don't want at the base of it, just so you could get a nice little hint of the aroma from the glass. And it's also very nice for sipping on. You have a nice little handle down here, so it does not warm up the whiskey from your fingertips, or you could hold it here at the bell. It's perfect. But they're very fragile, so you have to hand wash them, dishwasher, whatever. If you put it in a bag and take it somewhere, it's going to break. Therefore, I have been gifted with this box, crafted by Aaron Paoletta, to perfectly fit the glass inside so that it does not move around. I transport it.
Go ahead and pour your booze. So now that you've done the dramatic pour,
yes.
go ahead, taste, and talk about the notes, because I'm big on the notes, especially when this episode is literally about pairing, and we're pairing 2 different sets of notes together.
Yes.
So make sure they know why you're doing that.
So whenever you first pour yourself a glass, examine the color, look at it. It takes time to make, 12 years. So appreciate the color it takes in its Spanish cherry oak cask or American oak. Give it a smell, rotate it around, not too much, because if you swirl it too much, alcohol will burn your nose. So give it a little sniff.
Well, that ain't no lie. I've actually done that before when I was doing my wine, and when I was a sommelier. And I tell you what, man, you get a little vigorous and you twirl too fast, and that shit go up your nose, dude.
Out.
You're done. You're done. And the one thing that I like about these Ethiopian coffees is that they actually grow slower. Okay, when they grow slower, and essentially from planting to processing, it gives them more time to absorb the nutrients and the flavors that it's going to come with. Where some coffees, and I'm not going to name any in particular, but some coffees, like when you taste it, you can tell that it's just cheap, and not even because like it was roasted improperly or roasted too fast.
Right.
It's just because it's cheap. Like you tell it's missing something.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I like about these Ethiopian coffees. They just stay in the soil longer, and more of those nutrients actually go into the bean, which adds to the complexity of the notes that you get inside.
Do you grind the beans yourself?
Oh yeah, my wife and I mean, we're definitely coffee snobs, and we have all of our coffee beans flown in. We grind them, and actually we're talking about getting a at-home roaster, so we can get raw beans, and we can make our own blends and roast them how we want to do them.
I wish it was that easy.
I mean, it is. I used to make moonshine. It's not hard. A little caramel coloring.
I can't make scotch. Scotch only comes from Scotland. If they say it's Scotch from America, it's not.
They say the true champagne only comes from Champagne region in France. That's why we call it sparkling white. But you can do Scotch here.
It's fake Scotch.
It would still be Scotch.
What makes a Scotch a Scotch?
I don't drink, so I don't know. Couldn't tell you. That's why you're here.
So
you tell people. Who the fuck you asking
what
me
makes
for?
a Scotch is that it's from Scotland. It doesn't have to be peated. There's many Scotches out there that are unpeated, which is what they do to the barley when they smoke it, the peatiness, okay? So it gives it that smoky flavor whenever they distill it. You could also have Scotches that are unpeated, which is without the peatiness, and it will just taste like, I don't want to say a bourbon, but it might taste like a bourbon.
Well, we're going to move on a little bit from the peatiness of his Scotch. I'm going to go into the cigars. Now, do you know anything about that cigar?
I know it's Rocky Patel 60 and it's Nicaraguan.
It's okay. Moving on. This particular one has a Connecticut broadleaf Maduro.
Right?
This one's a little bit more oily. It's got a little bit more of a sheen than the last one I did, but then again, the last one I believe was like a 5 1/4 by 52, if I remember correctly. This one also has a Nicaraguan binder. Now, the fillers in this are Costa Rican and Nicaraguan, and I haven't had a cigar in quite a while that had Costa Rican in it. And I'm trying to think, the last one I think was the Carlos Toronjo Exodus 1959 50th anniversary, if I remember. Or no, maybe it was just a regular Exodus. I can't. It's one of those. Had the Costa Rican tobacco. Really? You've never had that?
I've had this, but
Evan,
not the one.
Secretary of LaVega Cigar Club. Add that to the list of cigars we got to smoke. He's never had it. Have you ever had the
Costa
Exodus? The Carlos Toronjo Exodus? Add it to the list. We'll have to smoke it. This is a medium-bodied cigar. Now, I've already had one this morning, so if I do 2 in a day, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But if I do 2, I like to do 2 smaller ones. I also like to adjust the strength that I'm smoking, pending how late it is. Now, these guys like to start smoking at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. Well, I'm old, so like 8:30, 9 o'clock's bedtime for me. And I don't want to have one of these and then immediately go lay down. You don't feel good when you do that. So I chose more on the medium side for tonight. That one is also a medium. Now, how is that pairing with your whiskey there?
It's actually pairing quite well. The flavors are very well balanced with the first third of the Rocky Patel. I really like it. It's really hard to explain.
That's not really something you want to hear
really,
on a talk show. you want to explain it.
I am going to try my best.
Do it.
The peatiness from this whiskey is pairing really well with this cigar. It's really bringing out the caramel flavor inside this whiskey. I really like it. Hold on, I'm sorry. I thought my cigar had a hole in it. It's okay. I thought the wrapper was broken.
Wow.
It scared me a little bit. It scared me. I'm sorry.
That has a Mexican San Andreas wrapper. It has a Nicaraguan binder and Nicaraguan fillers. I'm pretty sure it's a Nicaraguan binder. I'd have to refer to one of my books. Oh shit, I have my books. I was smart, I left them here. Let's look into one of the books and see what it says. See, this is why you should keep books, for that reason. Now, while I'm looking for this, so we don't have dead space on the tube there, why don't you continue talking about something? Oh wait, you don't know shit about that cigar.
No, sir.
Sir? My dad was sir. You can call me Aaron. Sir. Oh, man. Who'd have thought there'd be too many in here? Diesels. That's another one we need to have. Diesels. AJ Fernandez makes those. Those were actually really good. I shocked the hell out of me. Oh, here we go. 60. 60. Where are we at here? Yep, Nicaraguan binder. Sweet. And that cigar is made in Esteli. You know,
isn't this aged 2 years?
Yeah. 2 years. Well, it's aged a minimum of 2 years before it finds its way to retailers. But who knows? Who knows how long they actually keep them? I suppose that just depends on the batch.
Well, I got this from you, so it might be aged even more.
Well, I was in that luxury pack of cigars that you bought from me the other night. Looked like a damn drug deal. Take a bag of cigars to his house. I'm like, you got the money?
Take like a gallon Ziploc bag full of cigars.
He bought like 27 of them off me.
It's beautiful. My humidor is stacked to the glass.
Yeah, don't forget tonight. I need to
Speaking
take
of,
it.
yeah, do you have a humidor I can buy?
Yeah, I do, but not right now. So as far as the pairing is concerned on my end now this cigar has a bit of a, we'll say a creamy almond that I didn't get in the first one. Now granted, when you smoke a cigar that is a smaller ring gauge, that's more of the wrapper that you're getting. And less of the filler, so now you're tasting more wrapper. I really couldn't tell you if that's the reason I'm tasting that creaminess or that creamy almond, but I didn't get that in the first one. I got almond in the first one. I didn't get the creamy almond. Also getting a little bit of cocoa. There's a slight touch of like red licorice in there, but creamy, sugary, like not sugar, but like cream, like sweet cream.
It's amazing. After you take a few puffs of the stick and then take a drink of this, it almost tastes like cashews and like caramel. It's so odd. It's so
This
odd.
motherfucker just say cashews.
Cashews.
It is the chair, Evan. It's the chair. Every cigar that Johnny tries, he tastes cashews.
Get out of here. You know,
It's the chair. We need new chairs. Fuck, I just bought these chairs. The chair's cursed.
get me out of this chair.
Not yet. Not yet.
No, I don't know. It might just be cursed. I don't know how to explain it, but I did get cashews. Honestly, I did get cashews and
cashews is not a bad thing to have.
It's like I took a handful of cashews and caramel squares, put them right in there and started chewing them.
Okay. And caramel squares.
Yeah, it's like I took a handful of both and started chewing them all in my mouth. That's what the flavor is I'm getting.
Okay. I mean, I can go along with that. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a few more puffs on this. Take another drink. See if your notes change at all, because we're gonna be here all night. If we go by how long, just keep hitting it, boy. Jesus, just keep hitting it. But see, right there, that is exactly why I wanted to do this episode where you have the pairings and you talk about it. Because if you look, this is what it's all about. And I'm not saying it's about, getting alcohol only or coffee only. You know what? Get your beverage of choice.
Yes.
And sit down with a cigar, turn your phone on silent, be respectful, tell your wife, tell your husband, whatever. Like, hey, I'm just going to go enjoy myself.
Right.
And sit down with your people and do it. Because this right here, now you're starting to mix flavors with flavors with flavors with flavors.
Absolutely.
And you're getting a whole new experience.
Yep, you're right. It doesn't have to be alcohol. It doesn't even have to be Glenfiddich, and it doesn't even have to be whiskey. It could be any kind. I mean, the rules of cigars, is
they're subjective.
However you want to smoke it, right?
Everything really comes down
whiskey.
to being subjective.
You want your whiskey with ice?
Yep.
Without
you want it rocks?
neat,
You want it neat?
Wet? There's many different kinds to do it, ways to do it.
Swirl, taste, repeat. Dude, his damn finger went up.
I got to. I'm on a TV show.
Cotton candy. There you go, crown heads. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that. Mix Ethiopian Sudamu coffee with sweet cream and your cigar here, your Patissier cigar, and now you get cotton candy. That was interesting.
I'm getting like peanut brittle now.
Peanut brittle.
Yeah. It's really, I'm getting
of
really
all the cigars I've ever tasted, I've never gotten peanut brittle.
I'm telling you the flavor of what I'm tasting from both. I haven't had this in a long time. I had to come back and revisit it because if I have too much of the same whiskey at a time, I can't enjoy it as much as I would want to. I have to have different flavors and, I would like to say grow my palate to try other ones and then say, come back like you've had with many of your cigars. You come back, smoke it, and you're like, whoa, what is this?
I mean,
this
I
is
do,
not the same cigar
I
smoke.
have, I have cigars in my humidor that I get to a certain point, because I buy 2-3 boxes per brand, per facing at a time, and I get to a point where I'm like, man, I don't want this anymore. Like, it's just not tasting good anymore. And it's not that it doesn't taste good. It's just I've had too much of it. So I start to give them away and clear them out, and then I replace them with something else. And then, I'll go back to it. Just like you said, I went into the storage where I keep all my LaVega, cigars, and because I check the humidity every day on those humidors, and I went in there and grabbed a Alec Bradley Tempest Nicaraguan. I haven't had that cigar, and I couldn't tell you how long. I was still pissed of how tight it was, even the one that I just pulled out of there. It's like every Alec Bradley I touch is just clogged beyond belief. But the flavor brought back memories. It was so good. Like, it makes me think of wanting to buy another box.
Yeah.
If you can correct your rolling and I'm not getting clogged cigars. But I would love to bring that back into it. You have anything else you want to talk about when it comes to the pairing side of this? Because what we're going to do is we're actually going to have him back for another episode, because there's just so much more that we can discuss, and you bring something different next time.
I could bring wine. See, the great thing about pairing is that there's an infinite amount of combinations that you could pair with a cigar, with food, with drinks, anything. There's an infinite amount of possibilities.
There is.
Many different flavors too.
You
could have 3 at the same time.
You think of how many cigars are out there, and you think of how many spirits are out there and how many wines are out there.
Yeah.
I will tell you this though, I did speak with Jovan, and I told him the idea of going to the club and possibly getting one of the bartenders to create some drinks for some specific cigars and get them on camera talking about them. So hopefully we can go and film that. But I definitely want to have you back. We're going to bring something different and just add more variety to the viewers,
right,
and show them different things that they can do. So you have anything else you want to throw in there?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. I appreciate you coming on. Evan, thank you again for coming down and running the cameras and everything. Guys, we'll see you next episode. Enjoy your smokes.